Relax, princess. Mom and Dad will make you forgive me. It's just a car. The words landed like gravel in my mouth. The front bumper of my new BMW hung like a broken smile. Coolant bled across the driveway in a sickly green river. My brother kicked a shard of headlight with his shoe, smirking, as if the mess were confetti after his private parade. I swallowed heat. My hands shook, but not from the wind. Everyone, my name is Everly. I'm 27. And here's the truth no one in my family likes to hear. Apologies in our house are currency, spent only when someone else is footing the bill. He leaned on the crumpled hood like it was a bar top. You're being dramatic, he said. Accidents happen. Besides, you left the keys on the counter. That's basically permission. A small laugh from inside the doorway. Mom, arms crossed, a rope tied as if the belt held the whole family together. He's right, she crooned. It's not the end of the world, honey. Your brother had a rough week. Rough week. I stared at the spider-webbed headlight and thought of the hours I'd stacked, early mornings, late nights, the smell of burnt coffee and toner at the office while others left for happy hour. I remembered signing for the car, the salesperson's hand warm around mine, the faint scent of new leather like a promise I'd finally kept to myself. Dad shuffled in behind Mom, rubbing sleep from his eyes. If you two are finished performing, he said, let's be reasonable. We'll sort it out. Family first. Family first, the spell we were all supposed to fall under. In our house, family first meant me last. I didn't perform, I said quietly. I paid. My brother rolled his eyes. You'll get over it. You always do. He said it like it was history, carved, inevitable. He said it as if my forgiveness was a faucet he could twist open whenever he felt thirsty. Inside, the house hummed, refrigerator motor, the soft click of the hallway clock, the whisper of air through a vent. Outside, the car ticked as if cooling could mend what impact had torn. The street light made the wreck gleam, a wounded thing pretending to be whole under the moon. Keys were on the counter because I was home, I said. Not because you had a right. Semantics, he laughed. Mom? Dad? Mom's lips softened into that patient smile, the one that always ended in me surrendering my boundaries like spare change. Everly, sweetheart, be kind. His family. I glanced at the glove box, the place where the paperwork for everything I own sleeps. My pulse steadied. The night air tasted metallic, like the moment before a storm decides to speak. Kindness, I whispered, stepping past the coolant river, shoes tapping the concrete like a metronome. We should define it. My brother's smirk widened. Define it however you want. You'll forgive me by morning. The porch light flickered once, then held steady. I reached for the front door, then paused, eyes drifting to the small, sealed envelope I'd tucked into the hall drawer hours earlier. Its edge peeked out like a shy truth waiting to be called by name. Behind me, the broken headlight caught my reflection, split into glittering fragments. I didn't look away. The envelope whispered against my palm as I pulled it free from the drawer. Thin, plain, nothing dramatic about it on the outside. But inside, there was weight. Paper that could tilt the balance of a family. My brother didn't even notice. He was too busy spinning excuses, tossing smirks at Mom like they were baseballs she never failed to catch. Insurance will cover it anyway, he said lazily. What's the big deal? Mom nodded, her robe sleeve brushing against Dad's arm as if their union alone justified his words. Dad sighed, a man who believed quiet solved everything. My chest burned. Quiet had never solved anything, it had just taught me to swallow. I walked past them, the envelope pressed against my side. My brother trailed me with his eyes, smug, daring me to make this into something larger. He always thought I wouldn't. You left your mess in my driveway, I said. My voice startled even me, low, steady, not the usual tremble they expected. Mess. He chuckled. It's a scratch on wheels. Chill. But the wreck outside glistened under the streetlight like an open wound, impossible to deny. I placed the envelope on the table, sliding it toward the center like a dealer placing a card no one saw coming. Mom frowned, shifting uneasily. Dad leaned closer. My brother crossed his arms, mock interest plastered across his face. What's that supposed to be? He asked. Documentation, I said softly. Accidents have histories. So do people. Silence spread, heavy and sharp. The refrigerator hummed louder, as if straining to fill the space. My brother's smirk faltered, just for a second, a crack across glass. I didn't open it yet. Timing mattered. In a house where every word was weighted, you didn't throw dynamite without first making them lean in to hear the fuse. Why don't you just say sorry? I asked him, meeting his eyes. One real apology. Not one mom or dad buys for you. He sneered, but I saw it, the flicker of unease. The envelope waited, a loaded silence between us. And for the first time, he blinked first. My brother's blink didn't last long. He caught himself, lips curving back into that smug grin. Apology, he scoffed. You're insane if you think I'm begging for forgiveness over a car. Mom, Dad, tell her she's being ridiculous. Mom's hand fluttered toward me, soft but firm, like she'd rehearsed this gesture all my life. Averly, don't drag this out. Your brother has enough pressure already. He didn't mean harm. Didn't mean harm. That was her favorite lullaby. A phrase she used to tuck away his chaos and wrap it in silk. I tasted the bitterness of every moment that phrase had been weaponized against me, his broken promises, his debts, the times he slipped my money from the desk drawer just to borrow. And always, the family chorus, he didn't mean harm. Dad's voice added weight. Drop it. We'll handle this. You know how this goes. Yes. I knew exactly how it went. They'd pay for the damage, smooth things over, and I'd be left with the wreckage, emotional, financial, invisible. And he'd walk away untouched. Again. I set my hand flat on the envelope, pinning it to the table like a declaration. You want me to drop it? Then he apologizes. Right here. Right now. My brother barked out a laugh. Or what? You'll cry? Run upstairs and slam your door like you're 15. His words tried to shrink me, but my spine locked in place. I wouldn't fold this time. No, I said, calm cutting through the air like glass. Or I'll show you what's in this envelope. His smirk flickered again. Mom's brows knit. Dad's eyes narrowed. The room tilted, like everyone sensed something fragile but dangerous in my tone. What's in there? Mom asked slowly. My brother leaned closer, feigning amusement but gripping the edge of the chair like he needed to steady himself. Go ahead, he dared. You've got nothing. I slid the envelope an inch closer to me, not opening it yet, but letting its presence breathe louder than any threat. My heart thundered, but my voice stayed steady. Then why are you sweating? The room froze, because he was. A bead of sweat slid down his temple, betraying the smirk he tried to hold. His arms uncrossed, fingers drumming nervously on the table. You're bluffing, he said, but the words came out thinner than before. Mom tilted her head, her voice caught between suspicion and denial. Averly, what did you do? I didn't do anything, I replied, my tone even. He did. And the insurance company recorded it. The silence that followed was thick, suffocating. Dad's face darkened with irritation, not at him, but at me, as though exposing the truth was a greater sin than crashing a car. You don't bring family business into strangers' hands, he snapped. That's disloyal. I felt the word slice me open. Disloyal. 4 years, I'd swallowed that accusation anytime I refused to cover for him, anytime I refused to nod along. But tonight the cut didn't bleed, it cauterized into something cold and sharp. I didn't, I said quietly. The adjuster did. And do you know what else they found? I lifted the flap of the envelope just enough for the papers to slide halfway out, the bold black ink visible under the kitchen light. My brother stiffened, his chair squeaking as he shifted. Mom gasped. Averly, what is that? I locked eyes with my brother, watching the smirk collapse into something closer to panic. His voice dropped, lower, harsh. You went too far. You don't know what you're messing with. But I did. Oh, I knew. Because tucked within that report wasn't just the record of the accident, it was a timeline of lies. Insurance claims under his name. Collisions reported. Patterns the company had traced, all connected to him. You've been using my name, I whispered. Haven't you? His lips parted, but no words came. For the first time, silence didn't protect him. The papers trembled between my fingers, not from fear but from release. The truth had weight, and it was finally in my hands. Dad's voice cracked, uncertain for once. What is she talking about? My brother swallowed hard, his jaw twitching. The room waited, Mom's breath, Dad's stare, my steady pulse. And in that waiting, the first fracture split his mask. His mask cracked, and the boyish charm he always wore fell away like ash. My brother's jaw tightened, his eyes darting between me and the half-exposed report. His voice, usually dripping with confidence, now scraped the air. She's twisting things. That's not what it says. But I didn't move the papers back into the envelope. I let them breathe, their sharp corners catching the light. Multiple claims, different vehicles, same address. Same handwriting on every statement. Different signatures, but all leading back to you. Dad's face hardened. He looked at my brother, searching for denial, for explanation, but my brother only stammered. Say something, Mom urged, desperation curling her voice. Tell her she's wrong. But he didn't. His silence was louder than anything. I leaned forward, every word deliberate. You didn't just take my car, you've been taking my name. My credit. My history. You weren't just reckless tonight, you've been reckless for years. And they finally caught you. He shoved back his chair suddenly, the legs screeching against the tile. You think you're clever, don't you? His hands balled into fists, not for hitting, but to keep them from trembling. Always acting like you're better than me. Like you don't make mistakes. I stood too, my voice low and steady. I work for what I have. You gamble it away. The house seemed to tilt with us, the hum of the refrigerator, the faint tick of the clock, all swallowed by tension. Mom pressed her palms together like prayer would glue the family back. Please, stop this. Both of you. We can handle it quietly. Quiet. Always quiet. Their favorite solution. No, I said, sliding the rest of the papers free, laying them flat on the table for everyone to see. Black and white truths that couldn't be softened. Not this time. Dad's breath caught. His gaze locked on the dates, the signatures, the evidence too clear to ignore. And for the first time in my life, my brother looked small. His shoulders sank, his smirk gone, his confidence unraveling thread by thread. You wouldn't dare, he muttered. But we all knew, I already had. The papers lay like shattered glass between us, sharp and undeniable. My brother's face drained of color as Dad's eyes tracked each line. The silence that filled the kitchen wasn't peace, it was a storm before thunder. Mom broke first. Averly, she whispered, shaking her head, you didn't have to do this. He's your brother. I turned toward her slowly. And I'm your daughter. Did that ever matter when it was me losing, me paying, me cleaning up? Her lips parted but no words came. For once, she had no script. Dad's hand pressed to the table, veins taut. He looked at my brother with a weight that made the air vibrate. Is this true? His voice cracked in a way I'd never heard, thin, brittle, almost afraid. My brother's mouth opened, then closed. He laughed suddenly, hollow and sharp. Insurance companies exaggerate. You know how it is. She's spinning this. But the laughter didn't stick, it fell flat, dissolving into the heavy air. I slid a finger across the top page, tapping the bold claim number. Exaggeration doesn't forge signatures. It doesn't repeat dates that align with when you were borrowing my car. Dad's gaze didn't leave him. Answer her. For the first time, my brother didn't smirk. He sagged into his chair, shoulders slumped. His voice came out barely above a whisper. I thought I could fix it before anyone noticed. Fix it. The phrase twisted in my gut. That's what he called years of deceit. Fixing. Mom reached toward him instinctively, her loyalty reflex. But Dad's hand shot out, stopping her. Don't, he said. His tone carried something final. I felt the shift ripple through the room, like a stage light swinging from me to him, exposing the cracks no one had wanted to see. I worked 14-hour days for that car, I said softly. And you turned it into evidence of who you really are. My brother buried his face in his hands. The clock ticked, marking seconds none of us could rewind. And in that stillness, the storm finally broke, Dad whispered the one word my brother had never heard from him before: enough. Enough. The word hung in the air like a gavel strike. My father had never said it to him before, never drawn the line. My brother lifted his head, eyes wild, searching for the old safety net, the easy absolution that always followed. But Mom's silence said it all: the net had been cut. "You don't mean that," he stammered, his voice cracked, almost boyish. "Dad, come on. I'm your son." "And she's my daughter," Dad shot back. His hand trembled against the table, but his voice didn't. "You've been lying to all of us. You've been stealing. Do you know what this does to our name? To hers?" The room seemed to shrink. My brother's bravado collapsed in on itself. He looked at me then, eyes narrowing, not with apology, but with resentment. "You've ruined me." "No," I said, steady. "You ruined yourself. I just refuse to keep hiding it." Mom finally spoke, her voice brittle, like porcelain about to break. We can't let this go public. If the insurance company pushes charges." "They already are," I interrupted, sliding another page across the table. The letterhead gleamed in the dim kitchen light: Notice of Fraud Investigation. Mom's breath hitched. Dad's face hardened further, lines deepening. My brother recoiled like the paper itself burned. "You set me up," he spat, trying to claw back his swagger. "You wanted this. You wanted me destroyed." I leaned forward, my words deliberate, ice-edged. "I wanted accountability. If that feels like destruction, maybe that says more about you than me." For a moment, no one spoke. The only sound was the faint ticking of the wall clock, each second carving the truth deeper into the room. Dad closed his eyes, exhaling as though letting go of decades in one breath. "You'll deal with this," he said to my brother, voice like iron. "No more excuses. No more rescues. You on your own." The words struck harder than any punishment. My brother flinched, not used to standing without their shadows shielding him. And in that raw, stunned silence, I realized he wasn't the only one finally free. The silence after Dad's words was heavier than any shouting match we'd ever had. My brother stared at him, blinking like he'd been struck. No smirk. No laughter. Just the hollow awareness of a man stripped of his usual shields. He whispered, almost to himself, "You're really not going to fix this for me?" "No," Dad said, steady. "Not this time." Mom covered her mouth, tears spilling for the son she'd coddled too long. But she didn't argue. Maybe even she knew the truth had become too loud to smother. My brother shoved back from the table, the chair screeching against tile. He looked at me then, as if I'd orchestrated his downfall. Maybe in a way, I had. But my voice didn't rise. It softened, calm like the eye of a storm. "You thought crashing my car was just another mistake," I said. "But it wasn't the wreck outside that ended you. It was the wreck you built in secret, claim after claim, lie after lie. I didn't destroy you. You left the evidence in plain sight. I only turned on the light." He wanted to argue, to claw back control, but no words came. His shoulders sagged as he stormed upstairs, footsteps pounding like a drumbeat of retreat. The kitchen stayed frozen. Dad sat back, exhausted, like a soldier who'd finally dropped his armor. Mom sobbed quietly into her hands. But me, I felt something else. Not victory, not cruelty. Just release. The BMW outside was broken, but repairable. Unlike my brother's web of lies, twisted too tightly to untangle. I'd carried years of silence, of being told to be kind, of swallowing my hurt. Tonight, I placed it all back where it belonged. I walked to the window, looking at the fractured headlight glinting under the street lamp. For the first time, the shards didn't feel like symbols of loss. They felt like mirrors, showing me who I had become. Not the sister who always forgave. Not the daughter who always yielded. But the woman who chose truth over silence. And that was enough.